you're going to get, and I looked at one of your notes, and one of your notes on here, Mike, was, do you remember the first round last year, the garbage games that we had? And yeah, they were, but listen, you're not going to get that in this first round. Yeah, you're going to get a few duds, but you got teams that are more evenly matched in the first round. If you're going to get, if you want to call it a dud, you may get one in that second round, but that first round, you're going to get quite a few really good games. So let me just kind of throw this out to you. So if the top 16 get a bye, okay, so and then the next highest grouping would get the home game. So I kind of looked at who would be the first team out. The first team out, believe it or not, is Clemson. So see, even with this, there's always some sort of, disgruntlement. But you have some really cool first round games. SMU and Iowa, Missouri, South Florida, Arizona, San Diego State, Tennessee hosting LSU, Cincinnati hosting Louisville. I mean, there would be some fun first round games. And then again, you can, my proposal is, you keep the same format. You start December 6th, you have the first round, December 20th, so there's a week off, that's the second round. And then I just use their format that they've been using, the December 31st and January 1st, the quarterfinals, the 8th and the 9th, the semis, and then their championship game on the 19th. You keep all the same bowls. I went with the Cotton Fiesta Peach in Las Vegas as the quarters, the Sugar in the orange, and then the Rose as the championship. And then I even said the teams that didn't make the playoffs, or even the teams that lose in the first round, if you want to go and play a bowl game, go and play another bowl game. So you can sprinkle bowl games around these, like that week you have off where there's no playoff games in there. Sprinkle bowl games in there, so you're not losing the bowl games. You're getting 48 teams involved in this, and like I said, 32 schools are going to host a football playoff game. I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
T is going to tell you he's the one that put the note on the show rundown today.
Oh, okay. That's good.
So
I think, because I didn't put it on there.
So last year's first round was decided by an average of 20 points per game. So, and those were teams 5 through 12. So the only thing that can happen by adding more teams is getting more stinkers in this proposal. And my concern too is when do we stop? The floodgates have already been opened at 12. It's gonna go to 16 because that's what everybody wants who has a vested interest in the betting markets, in a betting company, or in broadcasting these games. It's going to go to 16. When do we stop? Why don't we just line everybody up in FBS and FCS from 1 to 312, and we'll just start on August 30th and we'll just go? When does it stop?
I don't disagree with you. I understand that. But here's the thing. We're doing it in basketball, right? Basketball, they keep adding more and more teams. Now you have a play into the tournament. I'm just looking at it from the aspect of you're getting more teams in. You're getting, I mean, more schools. Again, I think that's what, for me, the big selling point is you have 32 campuses that are going to host a playoff game. And I think from my standpoint, that's one of my big selling points on this is that you're getting more teams involved in it. I mean, yeah, I mean, because we had this debate, and we even said it, like, this group of whatever it is, Tulane or whoever is going to get in, we know they're not going to win the darn thing. But I mean, they're in it, and for them, they're enjoying it. Like when March Madness comes, and state university of the state of that university's junior college, when they get in, they're not going to win the darn thing. But do they care? They don't care. They're playing. They're happy. They know they're going to go to get steamrolled by Duke in 4 days. They don't care about that. They just care that they made the tournament and they're happy. They're dancing. They get to hold the big sign for the tournament. Look, we won this tournament and we're going to lose to Duke by 72. But they don't care at that moment. And so that's why I put this here. It's like, some of these teams may care, and it may make a difference in some of those programs to have them just be a part of it.
I think what you're going to find is, and I think you're already starting to see this. These teams are getting separated, right? These American Athletic Conference teams, or these Sun Belt teams, or these Conference USA teams that like this. Kennesaw State is a fantastic example. Kennesaw State could win their conference in the second year of existence, and that team is going to get poached like it was a Nebraska cornfield in the middle of harvest season. And so what are they supposed to do now? Are they supposed to go get more guys who are going to be there for a year only to go to the Ohio States and the Penn States the next year? This is this whole tournament and this whole playoff and this whole instant transfer and NIL is a recipe for disaster. And the sooner that it's ended, the better off college football is going to be. I say you go back to 4 teams, because somebody's always going to get left out. Clemson gets left out. Right. Great. Let's have a 30-minute special on ESPN about why Clemson got left out. Or what are we doing? What are we doing? This is not about. This is minor league sports. We got to get rid of and you can't associate this with campus anymore, because nobody's going to class. This is minor league sports.
All right, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but here's all I'm going to say: if you're Georgia Tech, if you're SMU, what do you have to play for basically this year? You're not getting in. If Miami wins out, Miami's getting in. So you play a college football season. You could win your conference championship, and you're still not getting in. So let's just call a spade a spade. Let's just say at the beginning of the year. Okay, here's a perfect example, Mike. We talked basketball last night. What was the tournament we talked about and we joked about a little bit? The Champions Tournament. So let's just call it what it is. Let's just say at the beginning of the year, Alabama. Georgia, we'll name the 4 teams that are going to play for the championship and just let everybody else do whatever they want then. That's kind of what we're saying, because that's what we all really feel. Those teams don't have a chance, so why even play? Just, go play in the Bluebonnet Bowl.
I miss the Bluebonnet Bowl. But the regular season used to mean something.
The Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl.
The regular season used to mean something. There was a reason why teams got jacked up to play, why Michigan and Ohio State mattered, why Alabama, right, Auburn mattered, why Florida and NFCC mattered, because the regular season matters. The regular season does not matter anymore. And once we get to a point where Ohio State and Michigan play and they throw the second teamers out because the next week they're playing in a bogus Big Ten, who can't even count properly, championship game in a city that's not Columbus or Ann Arbor, and nobody gives a shit because they're both making the playoff anyway, that's when it's going to start to matter. And I hope that happens next year, because this thing is an absolute farce.
There's a lot.
That's the end of your argument time.
There you go. There's a lot there.
I appreciate the willingness to do something different, and I like, but see, basketball is special because basketball is so unique, because when you get down to it, you had the reason why everybody loved Northwestern Louisiana, or whatever directional school it was because that was a team that had 4-year players and 5-year players who were grown up together, and they win the conference, and they're going to go against Virginia, and holy shit, they beat them as a 16. That's a cool story, because this is school that, and you're right, they're probably going to get rolled in the next game by 50. But that's a cool story because you have a team that's grown together for 4 or 5 years. Now we don't have that. I can't even tell you who's on Nevada basketball's team. I can guarantee you that none of them played there last year, and none of them are going to play there next year, because there are just hired hand mercenaries for 1 year. This thing is a joke.
But would this be a way to maybe create that and say, okay, because right now we know it's, and we could even use, we don't know for sure, but use Sam Levitt as an example. He may leave ASU to go, where the money is or where the championship, may be, because we know there's only a few schools that do that. But if we gave these two schools an opportunity and say, okay, maybe you can build a program, maybe it takes 3 or 4 years to finally build that program, and do it the right way, like they're going to do it in Virginia Tech now. And so it takes a while to build it. It just, I mean, but then again, like you said, nowadays it doesn't take. You know what it takes? It takes a big wallet. It takes one off season now to build it. So, I mean, I see it both
Right.
ways. I mean, but I don't exactly, like, again, as we talked about. I mean, does anybody really truly think Tulane has a chance to win a football national championship this year? No. So, I mean, if we're talking about, and this is what we always get down to, we always say, let's have the best teams play. Well, is Tulane, would you rather see Tulane in that game, honestly? Tulane or Texas in that game?
Whoever's better. Is
Okay.
Tulane better than Texas? I don't know.
I don't know.
You're totally right. I just think that once you start opening this up, there's no end. This basketball tournament's going to expand again. Why? We saw last year it was all chalk. It was literally all chalk. Why are we bothering? We should drop that back down to 32 teams and get the 32 best teams in there, because the competition, like Mike said, is so watered down now that it doesn't even matter. Like, yeah, these teams win the conferences and that's great, but it just doesn't matter anymore. And I'm interested to see what happens this year with whatever 12 are picked. And I'm interested to stack the data between last year and this year. That's what I'm interested to see, because that's going to tell us whether or not this system is working. Last year we had two games decided by one possession. Two out of 11.
Yeah.
That's not good. If this is the best versus the best and you have 2 out of 11 decided by one possession, that is no good.
All right, so I think we got the issue fixed on YouTube. No, that's why I let you guys go. Plus, I didn't light the. I figured you guys were in a heated debate there, so I had to light the incense of tranquility for the studio. I'm pretty sure we're back on in YouTube land. Please let us know, and make sure you hit that like or subscribe button. Plenty of stuff like the conversation that was just going on with the fellas right there on tonight's program. Let's go around a couple of the other headlines, because we're gonna reverse this thing right back into the college football land. Last night, Macklin Celebrini. You've heard his name on this program before, and you'll hear it a lot of times going forward. He got points number 28, 29, and 30 in last night's game as the Sharks knocked off the Utah Mammoth in overtime. All three Sharks goals scored by Macklin Celebrini, who joins Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crosby, and Super Mario Lemieux as the only teenagers in the history of the NHL to have 30 points through the first 20 games of a season. It's a catch-22 for me, guys, because you guys know, and Mac, we kind of dealt with this with your fan free agency thing as well, so I know you can definitely sympathize. And T, you and I had season tickets to the Coyotes, so I think we can all sympathize in a certain level here. I am having a lot of fun watching this team play hockey. I couldn't have a lot of fun watching them play hockey and that game last night because I live in Arizona, and I'm not allowed to watch the Vegas Golden Knights when they're on or the Utah Mammoth when they're on. So somehow I lost the local team, and I can't watch two additional teams, both of whom play my team several times. We'll get to that later. I said that I asked you guys the question 2 weeks ago. He's at 30 points through 20 games. I'll start it in the middle. Vegas Mac, is Macklin Celebrini about to drop a 100-point season on us?
I mean, it looks like, I mean, he's trending that way. I mean, obviously, I said no last week. I still think no. I think I mean, hey, kudos to the Sharks. I mean, after what they lost their first 6 games, and I think they're like Nine. I don't know exactly, but I know they have 9 wins since then. So I mean, they're playing better hockey. But I just think, um, if they continue to play better, and as the season ramps up, I think things get a little bit tighter. I mean, he's good. I mean, he's really good. He's gonna be one of those guys that we kind of must see TV. But teams will start figuring him out a little bit. He's going to go through some slumps, and I think that may throw him off a little bit. Especially if they're playing well, teams are going to really start gearing up for him. Right now, like T says, they're kind of playing loosey goosey hockey. I mean, because nobody really is taking him seriously.
Yeah, and T, I also like Macklin's going to get all the headlines, but Will Smith, also a youngster, having a very, very good start to the year for the Sharks. T, you and I got a chance to actually see Macklin play for the first time in person together last year, and the one thing we both said at the end of the game, because we had kind of talked about going into the game, hey, let's see how we both react to it when it's over. And as soon as the game was over, game went to overtime. It was a hell of a lot of fun for two horrible hockey teams last year. The first thing we both said when we looked at each other was, damn, he's fast. And it's scary because it looks like he might have gotten faster. I know you were on board with the 100-point campaign. Assess the Sharks as are they a year away from being a year away? Are they 2 years away from being 2 years away? Because it's been an interesting start to the season for whatever that's worth.
Well, I think
Yes.
they got to get that goaltending situation figured out, and Scar's only going to get better as he plays more. He's just got to play more. But this team is probably the good news for the Sharks this year is that everybody's bunched up. Nobody's running away with anything, except Calgary is in a race to the bottom against themselves. So it's an opportunity for the Sharks to play meaningful games when they get to February, March, and that's what these young teams need to do. They need to play meaningful games, and as they get like Max said, as they get closer to let's say that the Sharks are 6 points out, 8 points out when you get to March, the games are going to tighten up a little bit, and they're going to key on Mac and Will Smith because they're the dynamic duo there, and teams will react and teams will adjust. But right now, he looks unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable. He's the best player on the ice last night. JJ Peterka might have been the second, but he was definitely the first. And he continues to be the best player on the ice in many of these Sharks games.
We'll get to some more hockey here in just a second because it is a Wednesday. Let's move through a couple of the other headlines here. Baseball news just to make Mac happy. Not like UConn can make Mac happy. I hope your wife is the happy one at the end of that basketball game tonight. Just saying for my pocketbook. Raisel Iglesias is returning to Atlanta, 1 year, $16 million deal. So the Braves retain their closer. A lot of people thought they were going to make a strong push in another direction, but they go ahead and do that. Other related news today, and this came out a little bit later in the day, so excuse me if it sounds like I'm going to read this to you right now because I'm literally just seeing it right now. And it involves one of the guys on the screen, one of his team's best players. Taylor Ward has been moved from the Anaheim Angels to Baltimore for Grayson Rodriguez. So we thought Ward was the guy that was going to be moved out of that group of Angels, and obviously the Angels' Achilles heel, pitching, Grayson Rodriguez. A lot of people think there's some good upside there. I think this is one of those trades where both teams wins. But, Mac, there you go. You got to re-sign today. You got to trade today. And Zach Gallen said no to the Diamondbacks qualifying offer today. There's your three baseball stories. Which direction are you going to run with this? Which one jumps out to you the most?
The trade. I was shocked last night. What's the one thing that the Baltimore Orioles need? Starting pitching. And you go and you give up on a good young arm. Now, again, Grayson's been injured, and I mean, it always
you
worries
said that
me.
very dad-like. And again,
Yeah.
Grayson's been injured.
and here's the thing that worries me when I
It was
see
very
this trade.
Todd Chrisley of you, Grayson.
It
Sorry, I'm in
worries
one of
me.
those
No,
moods.
it's all right. It worries me when I see a trade like this because I always say, what do the Orioles know about him that they're willing to give up on him when that's a major need for them? I mean, this is a guy. In case we don't, people don't know, he was kind of projected not as a 3-4. He's a 1-2. That was his projection as a 1-2. And so, if the Orioles are willing to give up on him, and not that they didn't get anything good in return, I'm not saying that, but a need for the Orioles is pitching, and they're giving up on a good young pitcher. That's to me, that's a red flag. Again, I don't know all the medicals on it, but that just seems awfully bizarre to me.
Yeah, definitely a little bizarre. And again, that trade, as Mac alluded to, had actually happened last night. I didn't see it till just now. Baltimore needed a power hitting outfielder. They definitely get that in Ward. The Angels had an absolute freaking cluster F with outfielders on their team, which they still kind of do, but still also kind of need a center fielder here. Firsthand, you watch Taylor Ward. I mean, I'm sure it's kind of shitty as an Angels fan, but being an Angels fan is shitty, and we knew Ward was going to be the guy that was going to get bounced sooner rather than later.
I'm okay with the trade. I'm okay with the return. It's so basically what they did was they had. I mean, Taylor Ward's on a cheap deal, so it's very very tradable, and they're getting basically a lottery ticket, and this lottery ticket could be very very good. I mean, he's slotted in some projections to already be the number 2 starter if he can stay healthy. Or it could be something that flames out after a year, and you probably weren't going to re-sign Taylor Ward anyway. So, at least get an asset that you might be able to develop and might see what you have versus knowing what you have with Taylor Ward. I think this is a great trade for both teams. The Angels pitching was less than stellar last year. And so they definitely need help there. But I think this trade was facilitated too with the emergence of Joe Adell last year as a top end premier power hitter in this league.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe Adell, member of the All MLB Moss squad this year. Monster year for Joe Adell. So baseball will continue to kind of meander its way through what's going on. This is probably something that we'll touch on next week. Only one show next week, Tuesday, starting our Thanksgiving Day holiday early, but we're going to cover a lot that night, including the new media rights deal where ESPN now gets another part of something sports related that they probably shouldn't touch. That being said, we're going to go to college football first. We'll circle back to hockey just because we're kind of already in that point. And last night we saw new CFP chair Hunter Urasek talking about Notre Dame and Miami, and that's been kind of a hot button topic on our show. And I know Mac had some thoughts about Miami specifically a couple of weeks ago, and it was kind of funny last night because I watched the selection show back because obviously, Mac, you and I were on when they dropped the new rankings. And when he's sitting there talking about Notre Dame and Miami specifically, and he mentions that they haven't been compared to each other, and these are his words from last night. Notre Dame and Miami have not been compared to each other because they are not close enough to each other in the rankings. Mentions Miami has 2 losses to unranked teams, and Notre Dame has 2 losses to teams in the committee's top 13. Hello, Hunter. These 2 teams that you're not comparing to each other played on the damn field against each other already this year. This doesn't help the fact that a lot of us, and I do want to hear from the people because we've seen it both ways here. We've done videos both ways where, we've talked about a lot of people wanting the college football playoff to get to this point and how long we all wanted it. And we got some interesting kind of split comments like nobody wanted this, or I wanted it, but now that we've seen it, I want it back the old way, or people that just said the old way sucks. And then we have the chair of the committee saying we're not comparing 2 teams that aren't close enough in the rankings to each other, talks about their cross losses, one of the teams in the committee's top 13 is free. This makes no damn sense, Mac. Like, nothing whatsoever here. Can you settle what Hunter Urasek could not settle last night? How do you compare Miami and Notre Dame, ye of the rankings on this program?
I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest. I think Miami's a better team. I'll just put it there. I just think they've been a little more consistent. They really had, I think, one really bad game. I think Miami's a little bit. I've been a little disappointed with Notre Dame. I mean, I picked Notre Dame to go to the national championship. I really thought that. I mean, and they've kind of beaten the teams they've had to beat, kind of, sort of, not really. They just really haven't been impressive. I kind of expected more from Notre Dame, especially with their running game. I just thought they would be more dominant than they were. If it was me, I would give the nod to Miami.
Yeah, but I mean, look at who's in charge here. Some guy who just blew out his coach after getting housed by Notre Dame a few weeks ago.
True.
So that's I'm taking this all with a grain of salt. But you're right, dude. Like, these teams played on the field in week 1. Miami won a close game. Miami has been more consistent. Here's the thing with the season, right? We're going to get a stinker or two in there. Miami has unfortunately had a couple. I do think Miami is better overall. I don't think Notre Dame is if Notre Dame gets in the playoff, I don't think they're long. I think they're one and done. Not like last year. I think last year was a complete a one-off for them.
I will say this. I think Notre Dame next year already has my money. And this sounds crazy to say it. It'd be a great hire buy question. Next year already had the money to win the national title. They're going to return a lot of this defense, and they've got kids coming in. I know, because the college football world is so volatile right now, I really think Notre Dame next year is the year that they finally push through. I don't know if I could definitively say that one of those two is better than the other, because they both have glaring flaws. Because we're in the lane, let's stay in the lane. There is the iteration of the bracket, if it were to start today, as we saw last night. And I'm going to ask you guys a question, seeing the field there. Wins over projected playoff teams. Who do you think on that graphic has the most wins over the current projected playoff teams? I had to double take this. I'll give you guys a second here, because like I said, I had to double take it, and I was like, you know what? Actually, that makes sense, because we're at this point. We watch all these games like we do, and we get to this point where we're real close. We're only 18 days away from finding out the official final bracket. Mac, who do you think on that graphic has the most wins against projected playoff teams? Somebody at home is going, I know.
I don't know. I was going to say Georgia, but
it is not Georgia. They do have one. They are one of several teams that has one. T, what do you think?
I think it's Mississippi.
It is Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, yeah.
Ole Miss has 2 wins over projected playoff teams. Indiana, A&M, Georgia, Oklahoma, Alabama, and Miami all have 1. Tulane, Notre Dame, Texas Tech, and Ohio State have none. So it's kind of interesting when you look at it from that standpoint and kind of break it down that way. Hypothetically speaking, because Josh Pate did the dirty work on this today at Josh Pate CFB on X, per FanDuel Sportsbook, guys, these are the spreads for the projected first-round playoff games that we see on the screen. Mac, I know you're going to love this one. Texas Tech, 21.5-point favorites over Tulane. So that would qualify technically for Mac's big spread, which is not what we want to see in the first round of the playoffs.
No.
Notre Dame would be 3.5-point favorites at Oklahoma. Oregon would be 4.5-point favorites at home against Alabama. And the aforementioned Ole Miss would be 3.5-point favorites at home against Miami. We'll start with T on this one, then we'll go to Mac. Out of those 4 hypotheticals, which one are you most surprised at? Hypothetically speaking, of course.
I'm probably most surprised at the Notre Dame Oklahoma one. I thought that Oklahoma would be. You said Notre Dame was a 3.5-point favorite, right?
That would be 3.5 points at Oklahoma.
I thought Oklahoma would be I thought it'd be the other way around. I thought it'd be Oklahoma by 3.
Okay, Mac, which one? It can be the same, to be fair.
Well, I was that's where I was leaning, but for the sake of argument, sake or conversation, I'll say the one that kind of surprises me. I think that it's as large a spread as it is the Alabama one, because you said it was 4, right, or 4.5.
Oregon's 4.5-point favorites hypothetically against Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, vis-a-vis, Indiana beat Oregon. I mean, I think Alabama's, 4 points seems like a lot. Let's just put it that way. That seems like a pretty big spread. Because I mean, listen, like I said, a week ago Alabama was in the top 4. That I guess that's how I'm looking at it. A week ago they were getting a bye. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really think they fell off that much. So to me, even though going on the road, and I get it's in Oregon, and it'll probably be raining and cold and whatnot, and this, that, and the other, but I that seems like a lot to me.
Interesting when you look at this to think about the layout of how they would schedule those games. This just popped into my head randomly because your initial thought would be Alabama at Oregon, Friday night, prime time to start the weekend. That'd be the game. I'm interested. Which one? Be the network director here, Vegas Mac. You get a Friday night primetime game and a Saturday night primetime game out of those 4 sets of first round matchups. Which one are you putting where and why?
I mean, I'm going to start with Alabama and Oregon on Friday night, and then I would go with Notre Dame and Oklahoma. I mean, it's kind of, I'm just thinking along like, Notre Dame Saturday. I mean, that kind of works. I'm thinking, that would bring the people in. I would have the Tulane Texas Tech game be the first game on Friday. And then the Miami Ole Miss would be the first game on Saturday.
Well, no, so there's the one Friday, and then we got the 3 on Saturday.
Oh, 3. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought there were 2.
Because I think we'd all be in agreement looking at this that Tulane and Texas Tech screams first game Saturday morning that most people might not be awake for.
When I look at that, I see T's Houston team for the NFL the playoff.
That's exactly what I was thinking. How do you schedule it, T? If you're the network director here, who's your Friday night primetime? Who's your Saturday night primetime?
Mac read my bloody mind.
Both of ours at the same time
to a T. The only one that I would consider switching would be moving the 2 primetime games, one to the Oklahoma to Friday and the Oregon to Saturday. That would be the only one I'd consider switching. But Mac nailed it.
I obviously I took that screenshot on X today when I saw Josh Pate post it, and it's funny because right below the screenshot there, MLB trade rumors: Pirates interested in Kyle Schwarber, showed interest in Josh Naylor, and the guy who quote tweeted it, Penguins Jesus on X. Yeah, and my buddy at work is interested in Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
See, sometimes you just got to read the whole picture there. Right. So I think there's some interesting stuff there, and I think it's crazy, guys, to realize that as we sit here, we're literally 18 days away from finding out exactly how that finishes. And think of all the shit that's going to happen over the next 18 days. You've got more upsets. You've got the rivalry games. Then you've got the conference championship games. And then you've got, on top of that, the coaching carousel, which is going to impact the college football playoff at some point. All of that's going to happen in like the next 2.5 weeks. Effing incredible. What a time to be a sports fan. Let's get into some hockey here because it's about time. Because there's some weird shit happening in hockey right now. Number one, this is the absolute tweet of the day right here, and I'm gonna drop the ticker there. The Columbus Blue Jackets admin should be given a raise for their comment here, and they might be in my new favorite team in hockey. And not only did they clown on Bill Simmons here, they also got the 404 error code in the tweet. So excellent job by them. What the hell's wrong with the Vegas Golden Knights, Mac? Your first name is Vegas. Your second name is Mac. So tell us what's going on with the Golden Knights, because it's been in November to forget.
Well, I said at the beginning of the year that my one concern about this Vegas team was between the pipes. And it's kind of funny that, this is a Vegas team. If you look at the history of them, they haven't spent, and let's be honest. I mean, they got Fleury in the expansion draft. They didn't go out and get him like in free agency. But the one area they've kind of, I'll use the word, been cheap on has been goaltending. They've done a great job. They've gotten blue line guys. They've gotten guys that can put the puck in the net, but they haven't gone out and really done anything in net. I mean, they end up winning, a cup with Aiden Hill, who, as a prospect was, a decent prospect, but I just never thought that they put enough money into their goaltending. And I think it's, I don't know if you agree or not, but I think it's kind of come back to bite them a little bit.
I 100% agree with you. This is there are two things. First off, they don't have a goaltender that with over a 900 save percentage. They're rolling out Akira Schmidt right now as the number one because Aiden Hill's out he's week to week with a lower body injury. But yeah, I mean, until they re-signed Aiden Hill to that contract, you're right, they went cheapo on the goaltending, and it has come back to get them. I mean, they got rid of Logan Thompson and traded him, and he's outstanding for the Capitals. The Capitals just have to put a team around him at this point. But yeah, they got nobody to stop the puck right now, which was also a problem in year one. I mean, when Fleury was having a not so good stretch, and they had Malcolm Subban, who he couldn't stop a beach ball. I mean, so this team is from the jump been sketch on the goaltending, and you're right, now it's starting to come. Well, plus two, they're missing Mark Stone, they're missing William Karlsson, they're missing
Where's
Jeremy
Mark
Lauzon.
Stone?
Yeah, he's go ahead.
LTIR, wouldn't you know?
That's right.
Jeremy Lauzon is out on defense, so this team's banged up at the wrong time too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of truth to that. And tomorrow night they've got a game at Utah. Next big game that we've got this week: Hurricanes and Jets on Friday night. Mac's new team, Arizona's old team that's new again. Does Nick Ehlers get a video? Is the big question here, Mac. Since you are Mr. Hurricanes aficionado now.
I mean, it's the trend, right? He probably should. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't. I don't really care if he does or not. I just want him to put the damn puck in the net. Here's the bottom line. It's funny. I just looked at the standings and I saw that Carolina was atop. But it cracks me up. This is a team that 5-on-5 again is really doing well. But I'll tell you, this team is so snake bitten on the power play. It cracks me up. I mean, they've hit more pipes than a plumber. They just cannot seem to put the puck in the net on the power play. They're like the second worst power play unit in the league. But get them 5-on-5. This team is crazy good.
Laying more pipe than Ron Jeremy. Now, T, I've got a question. Since Mac is a new fan of the Hurricanes, my thought is he's not allowed to. I thought he was going to start talking some shit there. And as a new fan of the team, I kind of feel like you have to wait at least 6 months before you can talk shit. But this is a special circumstance because he was an old fan of the team, and now he's a new fan of the new version of the old team. So it's really confusing.
I'd be willing to give him, waive the 6-month requirement as long as he changed his ringtone on his cell phone to Brass Bonanza.
We
I
were
would be
we
willing
were
to do it.
we were on a break.
Fair.
Look, this Hurricanes
we were on a break.
We were on a break.
This Hurricanes team is outstanding 5-on-5. They are not great. At least the penalty kill isn't 31st as well. At least it's middle of the pack. The Jets need to. The Jets are kind of in one right now. They need to get some wins and get them in a hurry, because looking at the standings here, they're third in the division, but they're already 7 points off the pace. And this Jonathan Taves experiment has been good at this point. And Kyle Connor has been doing what he's needed to do. Adam Lowry's back, so that's nice. But this team needs some wins.
Yeah, and it's interesting because here we are going into another Saturday with another must-see game on Saturday's schedule, and we've talked a little bit about Edmonton so far this season. Haven't talked a whole lot about Florida and the rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals. It's absolutely must-see television here. What can the Oilers do to get the puck rolling in the right direction, if you will? And all the injuries for Florida, Mac, and here they are again. Just, they'll start slow. It's been a long... Nope, they're Florida. They're rolling. Slow start, but they're rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Man, for me, I think it's the same thing with Edmonton as it is for Vegas. Their goaltending is just phenomenally bad. They're winning games because of what they can do offensively, how they move the puck. Good blue liners. But this is another team again, and it's no surprise. I don't get it. This is a team that could have one or two cups in their back pocket already. Go out and get a damn goalie. Make a trade. Make something happen. If I'm an Oilers fan, I gotta be frustrated. All the heck that we've got one of the generational greatest hockey players on the ice, and another one right by his side, and we got a goalie who couldn't stop a frozen turkey if a shot at him.
Frozen all the heck.
Yeah.
Well, you're right, Mac. This and we're having the same conversation that we've had for the last 5 years with the Oilers, and that we've had the same conversation for the last 5 years with the Maple Leafs. The depth. You have to have depth when you're paying these guys at the top of your lineup all this money. You have to have depth, and I think the general would concur with this, but he misses his lieutenant. He misses Corey Perry. Corey Perry is leading the Kings in goals. This guy's going to be 41, and he's found the fountain of youth again. And I probably shouldn't have put my money on the Kings to finish runner-up because, that's Corey Perry's thing right now. But, the Oilers need to find depth, and they need to find it quickly. I think that I think the sooner that they move – I hate to say it, but they got to move on from Skinner eventually. If he's not going to stop the puck, you got to move on.
And here's the thing. I know it's not the tell-all statistic, but I always look at it it kind of gives me a good idea. Their goal differential is a -12.
Yep.
That's not good. It's not. -12 is not good. When you have to score 4 or 5 goals a night, because I think his save percentage is under 900. It's like 86 or 84%. It's something really, really low. You're putting your team almost at a goal disadvantage. So you're almost starting the game down 1-0.
The general isn't the only one in Edmonton that misses Lieutenant Corey Perry. Single moms and hockey moms in Edmonton miss Lieutenant Corey Perry. More hockey every Wednesday on this show. Also, those of you that are new to the program, welcome. Feel free to comment along. Tag your friends, tell your friends. Make sure you subscribe, easy for you to say, and like. If you're looking for the picks portion of the programs during the week, well, you're in the right place because from Wednesday And on Thursday lunchtime live, Friday lunchtime live, it's picks, and more picks, and most of those picks are going to be wrong picks. So fade us if you're new here, but welcome in. We've got an interesting slate on the college football world, which we've talked a lot about because we're hitting that momentum point here to close the season. BYU and Cincinnati in the Big 12, and this game lost a little bit of its steam last week when Cincinnati left a steaming pile of something on the field here. You've got a crowded top of the Big 12. Texas Tech and BYU still head up, ready to face each other here. It's BYU on the road, very unique defense that Bear Bachmeier will see in this one. I'm really interested to see this, but I'm a little more sour because of the result of last week's in Cincinnati. And I'll start with UT because that was one of the picks I put in my college Saturday that we'll do again tomorrow on the show. And I was so confident on that Cincinnati pick, and oh my God, did they suck last week.
They were terrible. Absolutely terrible. So it's like redemption Saturday for them, right? They can come back and knock BYU out of the top of the Big 12 this week. I like that Cincinnati's playing at home. I think that's good for them. But BYU is just, man, this team. I think they wish, and I think they're hoping that they get another shot at Texas Tech, because the more I watch them play, that was just embarrassing. And I just think that was just one of those games where you just have to burn the tape and try again.
Yeah, and Mac, we talked about the Big 12 a lot last night and kind of the setup here down the stretch. What do you think, BYU at Cincy?
Sorsby, he's had his worst two games over the last couple of weeks. He had been playing really, really well up until then, but his last two games, he just hasn't played all that well. BYU controls its own destiny, and even then, it may not be enough for them to get in, to the college football championship. I like BYU. I just think they're a bigger, stronger team. I like BYU in this game. I got to give up 2.5. That's okay. Is it? That's what I had, 2.5. I don't know if it changed, but I'll give up the 2.5.
54.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll give up the 2.5. I like the over in this game too. I think a lot of points are going to be scored, so I would take BYU minus the 2.5, and I'll go with the over in that game as well.
See, I could make a case for BYU having a better resume to be in the college football playoff, and Miami should be the first team on the outside looking in than the other way around. I definitely will lay the 2.5 here. I don't know if I love the total at 54.5 because of what I've seen out of Cincy's offense. Knowing what this BYU defense can do, I think BYU would have to probably do most of that lifting. So I'm going to stay off the total, but I'll lay the points with the Cougs.
I don't have my broom here, but that's a clean sweep. I'm taking BYU as well. I think they're on a mission.
Next one. Still a big one in the SEC. We've got a pretty good idea of who's going to Atlanta for the most part, but Oklahoma trying to make their case to move up in the college football playoff rankings. Interesting game here. Mizzou is still ranked, but they've got a whim and a prayer, and that whim and prayer are both probably on their way to State College to coach Penn State next year. So Mizzou and Oklahoma from Norman. What do you think? Start with UT. Sooners opened a lot of eyeballs last week, I think.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I feel bad for Missouri in a way because it's really been, once they lost their quarterback, this thing has just kind of gone a little south on them. They lost that game to Vandy, and then it's just one thing after another here. I think this is a tough spot for Missouri. I think they put up a valiant effort, but I think they fall short.
Vegas Mac.
Yeah, last week I was really on the Texas Longhorns. I thought they were really, really playing well. They were kind of on a roll kind of going in, and they kind of did not play all that well. I kind of feel the same way about Oklahoma. I think since Mateer's come back. We know he was injured. We all can just say it. He wasn't 100%, and when he wasn't 100%, he wasn't playing well. But if you've watched him over the last couple of weeks, last week, he's not. He's not a big numbers guy. He's not going to blow you away with numbers. He's not going to put 300-400 yards up in the air. But when I watch him play, he's that spark plug for that team. He when they need 3 yards, he's going to get the 3 yards one way or another. He's just that. I can't think of the word, but he's that spark plug for Oklahoma. I like Oklahoma. Here's my only issue. At 8.5, that seems like a lot. Missouri has played well. Their only 3 losses have been in conference. I like Oklahoma to win this game, but I don't think they're going to cover. I think Missouri will stay within that 8.5 points.
Yeah, 7.5 in some spots. Still a lot of them in that 8.5 range there. Amon Hardy is a guy I wanted to see in the college football playoff. Still not even at 200 carries. 1,346 yards and 15 touchdowns for the Tigers. And I think you nailed it, T, with, once they lost Prbula, it was just downhill from there. I like Mizzou with the points. I think they have one more chance to try and make one more statement here, and they know they got to have it. And I'm still not very sold on this Oklahoma team because they don't have a running game, despite what we saw last week. But I'm going to take the points with Mizzou, especially since it's over a touchdown, T.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a game. The total on this game is 41.5, and we have a couple of really good defenses here. This might be a game where I would lean under in the first half.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were going to go under for the game. I was going to be like, that is going to be the most brutal, painful sweat of all time, because that's a low 41.5. Like,
yeah,
you're talking 24-17 game, right? You're right on it. It's like, that's the kind of game you could see with these two teams. So plenty of other games, obviously big ones this weekend. But we've already kind of beat college football over the head. Before we transition to the NFL here, guys, I'm going to post this picture because this A looks like something that's appropriate to our show. But B, because TJ talked about him just before our show today, the Jack Hughes injury, apparently leaning on a glass at a team steak dinner, and now he's out, 8 weeks, you said, T? I think?
He's out 6 to 8 weeks, yeah, and it's the second season in a row that he's not going to play. Actually, the third season, he's not going to play a full season.
Yeah, and here's the funny part about it, is that isn't even the only one in the last 48 hours in the NHL, and I'm going to butcher this, Letu Lostarinen from the Panthers had a barbecuing accident. Apparently he got burned, and he's going to miss some time. And then it got me down this rabbit hole of NHL players that have these really what kind of injuries? Like, and I'm going to ask you guys to give me the best one here. So I'll go through them here. Joe Sakic injured his hand trying to fix a snowblower in 2008. He had surgery to repair 3 broken fingers and tendon damage. Then there was Brent Sopel, who once threw out his back bending over to pick up a cracker. I think a lot of us at this age in life can sympathize with that one. Dustin Penner, we all remember that one, when he went viral after suffering back spasms during a pancake breakfast. The injured eating pancakes reference will live forever on hockey Twitter. Still one of my favorites of all time. Made the most of the punchlines later to give him credit. He partnered with mayorsmanor.com to sponsor a pancakes with Penner breakfast. So that one turned out okay. But between Sopel and the cracker, Penner and the pancakes, or Joe Sakic and the snowblower, Mac, I'll start with you. Which one do you sympathize with the most?
Well, it cracks me up. I mean, Sakic, Canadian, right? I mean, he's seen a snowblower before. Why are you putting your freaking hand in the damn snowblower? Yeah, that'd be like
about that until you said that.
That'd be like Guy Fieri putting his hand down a garbage disposal. Come on, get it right. Like, I don't know what you're thinking. I mean,
Good point. What about you, T? Which one?
Oh man, my heart breaks for Brent Sopel. I mean, like all the dude wanted was a snack, and he busted trying to eat a cracker. Oh man, poor dude. Give that
See,
guy all the saltines.
now you hope it was like an actual good cracker, like
Ritz.
imagine if it was one goldfish he dropped and that's how he threw his back out, as opposed to picking up like an expensive cracker, like those entertaining crackers that you see.
Those are good.
Like I think what type of cracker he was trying to pick up has a lot to do with how you can judge that. As I almost just held in a cough and hurt my back there. All right, let's talk some NFL football before we really derail this train. Interesting spread of games this weekend, guys, and we'll start with, I think, the one that probably is the most in question, and that's the Colts and the Chiefs. We saw the Chiefs kind of get back in the mix, and then we've seen the Chiefs the last couple times out not look super great. The Colts, we talked about their easy schedule that they dominated at the beginning and how the schedule was going to change down the stretch for them. Here's another one of those games. I'm really kind of torn on this one because I still do believe we're going to see a Chiefs run. And I'm still a little like I've got maybe a foot in the water on the Colts. Not really sure. Kansas City favored by 3.5, total 49.5. Mac, Mr. Indiana Jones, Indiana Mac, what do you got on Colts and Chiefs?
Is this? Do the Chiefs have to win this game? Is this? I mean, if they lose this game, is that it? I mean, all seriousness. I mean, 6 losses. To think that you're going to make you're going to have to basically win out after this. My thing is this. Are the Chiefs going to be able to score enough to keep up with the Colts? I think the Colts are going to be able to put points on the board. They've put points on the board in most of the games that they played this year. I know they're going up against the Spagnuolo defense. I get that, but let's listen. They've got maybe the MVP of the league in their backfield. I think the Chiefs are in trouble. I know that makes T happy, but I think the Chiefs are in trouble. I think the Colts find a way to win this game on the road. No doinks, boinks, or anything else. The Colts win this one.
Mr. Kansas City.
Every time we start talking about first off, it was fantastic watching the end of the Bronco Chiefs game the other week and seeing the Chiefs in the column on the right with like the 5-5 Ravens and like some other, you might as well put the Cleveland Browns over there for all I care. But you're right. You're expecting the run. And this is the part of the schedule for Indianapolis. We talked about it at the beginning of the season. They've got the Chiefs this week. Then they are home for the Texans, and then their yearly loss at the Jaguars, and then they go to Seattle, and then they have San Francisco. So they need to come out of this with probably 3 wins out of the 5 games in order to kind of legitimize themselves. And I'm expecting some sort of tomfoolery this weekend. But that Chiefs defense is pretty good, and it's probably the best defense that they've faced, they being the Colts, all season. I like the Chiefs in this one.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are this is a backed up to the wall, and I think 2 teams have this same opportunity. And you're going to roll your eyes when you hear the second one, but 2 teams have the same opportunity this weekend, backed up against the wall, chance to make a huge statement in a game that you don't think they could win, or just a chance to make a big statement. I think Kansas City puts one on them this weekend. I absolutely do. I think you saw it in the Denver game. They were very frustrated, and every time we see this team get really frustrated, seems to be when they play their very, very best. So I think the Chiefs cover, massive cover, actually, in this one. Vegas Mac, final thought here. Who you got?
I'm going to take the Colts in this one. I think I'll take points. I don't need points. They're going to win it outright.
Confident is he in his preseason prediction of the Colts? Next one, speaking of Vegas, Mac, the Steelers and TJ's Chicago Bears. Your first place Chicago Bears. I'm really excited to see this one.
Unreal.
I just don't know who's going to be playing quarterback for the black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
Well, I can tell you who it's not going to be playing quarterback. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Will Howard.
No, that's not going to happen either, unless something happens to Mason Rudolph. I mean, there's just no reason to play Rodgers. I mean, he's worried about protecting himself. Okay, well, here's the thing: if you're worried about protecting yourself, then that's going to affect what you do physically and mentally as well. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, as much as all these numbers about how many wins he's got against the Chicago Bears, I get all that. I don't even dress him. I don't even put him. I don't even give him a uniform.
Put some clothes on him at least.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He does not even. There's just no way he's going on in that field. And not, I mean, for himself, but listen, I mean, the Steelers are still in this thing. We know that. I mean, and he's had a good season. If you want to protect your season, this is not the way to do it. You don't run a guy out there. You just know something's going to happen. If it's already broken, I'm not a doctor, not trying to play a doctor, but mentally it's going to be a factor for him. And I know it's not his throwing arm, but still, I just don't see any way that he even dresses for this game.
TJ, would you like to talk about your first place Chicago Bears?
I prefer not to. I'd rather talk about Aaron Rodgers. Here's the guy that I look at the most in this offense right now is DeAndre Swift. Like, this guy is just doing everything, and I'm trying to figure out if he's more like Jahmyr Gibbs or more like David Montgomery in that, or more like Williams in that offense, because he's excelling this year when he's playing, and that's really good news because it gives Caleb that outlet in case he needs it. But I mean, I'm going to give Caleb credit. He's completing the passes he needs to complete, and they're winning games. I mean, as much as it pains me, he's doing his job and he's having a decent season. So good for them. This is a tough one, though. This is going to be a tough one for I don't know, man. These two defenses, historically good, are not great.
Yeah, but the Bears are second in the league in turnover differential, which is crazy to think about. I get it, and I'll give you a chance to think about it here for a second. I think the thing for me with the Bears, and this is kind of one of the premises of why I said I thought they were going to win the North, is that Ben Johnson was a good enough coach to get them to not bear when they would normally bear and choke off a game. They're winning all those games.
Yes.
And this is another one where you would look at it and go, that's the Steelers defense. I mean, it's Caleb Williams. I mean, they're doing so many things that Detroit did really well, and then things that you can only imagine Detroit doing right now. And this is another one of those games. And it's a field goal game. The uncertainty at quarterback, obviously with Pittsburgh. I like the Bears to cover the 3 here. Mac?
I like Mason Rudolph. I mean, you have to understand he's a backup quarterback. We know that, but this is a guy that knows the system of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was so great. Just a real quick story. When he came in, I was like, I wasn't happy. Again, we never want to see an injury, but I just started going, all right, come on, Rudolph, let's go. And my youngest daughter just started singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Christmas is a month away.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I'm like, no, it's not that Rudolph. But listen, if the Steelers defense, this is when I think the Steelers defense, if they win, the Steelers defense has to win this game for them because they're not going to go crazy with Mason Rudolph. With that being said, I'm going to take Chicago in this one minus the points.
I knew he was. If he would have picked Pittsburgh there, T, that would have been the first time in the history of this program that he actually picked the Steelers 3 weeks in a row on the show.
I know.
See, I knew he was going to revert back to his old ways.
Well, I'm trying to take the fan out of it and look at it from a true perspective. I don't trust this. I just don't know. I mean, I trust
CJ,
Mason
make your
Rudolph.
pick not based on the
Shirt.
fact that you are going to wear a Caleb Williams jersey. Make it based on what you think is going to happen in the game.
I got to take the Bears.
Wow,
No Bears.
The Bears.
Which means
I need the
Pittsburgh's going to blow out Chicago since we all
I need
just
the
took
Packers
Bears.
to win so badly.
Bucks at Rams, Sunday Night Football. Speaking of needing wins badly, Tampa Bay coming into this game a little battered, a little bruised. The Rams flying high. Everybody is current. I think they are the 4th Super Bowl champion on paper so far this season. Let's see. The Packers were all the hype. And then, yeah, this is our 4th paper champion. So interesting to see how this one goes. Tampa needs a win bad here. T, I'll start with you here because Mac and I kind of mentioned this yesterday in not being sold on the Rams. And, you know, Matt Stafford was lauded for the last like 3 or 4 weeks of touchdowns and interceptions and all that stuff. And then we saw them against a good defense in Seattle, and their offense was just kind of blah. And I've seen that too many times from the Rams this year. I've seen the Rams, and then I've seen the Lambs at the same time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this game is worthy of the Rams being 7-point favorites on the current line.
I don't think so because I think the Buccaneers have a better offense than they've shown. I mean, they put up 32 against the Bills last week, and if it wasn't for Todd Bowles keep going for, why are these coaches trying to outsmart themselves with going for 2 all the time? If you'd have just kicked damn extra points, there would have been a whole different result or a whole different at least vibe at the end of that game. They put up 32 on the Bills. I don't think that. I think Stafford's going to have a great game, which I think he will, because I don't think the Bucs defense is all that great right now. The Bucs are pretty good at stopping the run, but you know, the chemistry between Adams and Stafford has been outstanding. But this is, 7 is way too much. And especially because, like you said, the Bucs are desperate for a win. They've got Carolina breathing down their neck. So this is going to be a fun one to watch, but I would take the points in the Bucs.
Carolina's going to come back up here in a second. What do you think, Vegas Mac? Who you got?
I've got one foot firmly planted for the Rams in this one, but I will let you know in my video coming up.
Oh, you troll, you. That was well set up there. You had me going.
Thanks.
All right. I got a question for you guys before we do liquid locks and get up on out of here. So, Niners. I said the Panthers were coming back up in a second. Here they are. Boom. Niners, Panthers. Mac, we talked about it briefly last night about how big of a game this turned out to be in the NFC landscape based on what we thought when we originally saw the schedule here. And for that very reason, they're breathing down Tampa's neck. Mm-hmm. And the Niners have a chance to make a big, loud statement in front of everybody. And you'd say, well, they should beat Carolina at home on Monday Night Football. It's not that. It's everything that team has been through this year and fighting through all those injuries. And they're at 7-4 and in prime position to be 10-4 going into a tough 3-game stretch to finish the season. This team could still finish the year 13-4, which would be mind freaking blowing. So I'm jacked because it's a big game. I'm jacked because it's Monday Night Football. That's my question. So you've got Thursday Night Football, you got Monday Night Football, you got Sunday Night Football, maybe like a holiday game like a Christmas Day. Like what game situation, Monday Night Football, whatever it is, for you, Vegas Mac, gets you the most hyped to watch the Steelers game? And I know if you answer this year, it's definitely not Sunday Night Football, but I mean, just in general, like when are they on in prime time that you're like, yeah, that gets me fired up?
Usually Monday night. There was a long stretch of time where Mike Tomlin had like some sort of absurd winning record on Monday Night Football. It's like his first like I don't know 12, 13. I don't think it was like 14 or 15 or 16-1. And so it just like it felt like it didn't matter who they played on Monday night, they were going to come away with a victory. So and it was and that was always a good feeling. So I would say that's it for me. Monday Night Football.
What about you, T?
Cringe when they play on Thursday. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
I think it's Sunday night now for me. Sunday night's just that time you've done a whole shift on the couch and you're like, okay, you get that hour break, you can get your third wind, grab a couple of pops, throw something in the oven, whatever it is, pizza rolls or whatever, wings, and 5:20 and you hear Carrie Underwood and it's ready. It's go time. I love Sunday night. It's the only game that I've consistently watched over the longest period of time, because when Monday Night Football went to ESPN and stuff a while back, I kind of like lost touch with that, but I've consistently watched on Sunday night.
That's a fair one. Yeah, for me, it's Monday Night Football. And it's crazy because normally at this point in the season, especially over the last, the Kyle Shanahan era in San Francisco, they're on Monday Night Football a ton, and it's never like you never wait this long in the year to see them on Monday night. But then the flip side to that is 2 Monday nights and a Sunday night, which is probably my second favorite, just down the stretch here. So I'm pretty freaking jacked for that. All right, let's get into some liquid lock. Oh, go ahead, Mac. Sorry.
I was just going to say, being the old guy, I mean, have to remember, like Monday Night Football was it, because a lot of times, you didn't get to see your team very much, especially me being a Steelers fan growing up where I did. You didn't get to see them all the time. So, boy, when they were on Monday night, it really made it special.
Hey, one of these times I come up to the Vegas Mac and Mama Mac Casa up there. Can you show me one of those Monday Night Football games in black and white on the real machine, like you used to watch them?
What are you talking about? We have in the extra room the rabbit ears on the TV, so we have it.
Do you have behind you in that mess? Do you have a Howard Cosell mustard jacket too?
No, we're good. Just average Joe.
Jesus. All right. Speaking of average, let's go to Liquid Locks here. Our favorite plays for the week or the weekend, whichever way we decide to do it. I'll get us started here because I've got 2 trends working in my favor this week, guys. Number 1, I am going to lay 10.5 points with the Lions playing the Giants. And this comes from Joe Osborne, who pointed it out this time on X. With the Lions losing to the Eagles on Sunday Night Football, the best betting trend in the NFL is now live. Detroit is 13-0 against the spread after an outright loss. They're 3-0 in that spot this season, and they've won by 31, 15, and 22 in those 3 spots this season. I think the Lions put one on the Giants, absolutely, so covering the 10.5. And I will ask you guys for the second part of my Liquid Lock. Do either one of you know the last time that the Tennessee Volunteers beat the Florida Gators in Gainesville, Florida?
I'm going to say 1997.
I do not know. I do not know. I don't have a guess.
IDK is IDK.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh.
September 20th, 2003, Tennessee, then ranked number 12, beat 17th ranked Florida 24-10. The Gators have one more chance to make like some kind of statement and some kind of one last plea to Lane Kiffin. I think while I called them the biggest loser of last weekend because they could have knocked Lane out of the playoff and just handled business, I think they put up a good effort, which goes a long way. This is a big deal to Florida. And yes, they still play North Florida Community College, also known as Florida State University. But that game just doesn't have the zip to it. For Florida, if they were to beat Tennessee here, is a great momentum point going into an offseason where Lane Kiffin will shortly be your coach. So I'm going to take the Gators on the money line. So Lions minus 10.5. Gators on the money line to beat Tennessee. And that is a plus 408 if you play them together. TJ, some liquid locks, my friend.
I'm going to go to the division that I hate the most, and that's the NFC South. That is my Achilles heel, but the streak stops this weekend. And all I can say, I can sum up my first pick with 3 words. You like that? Give me Atlanta on the money line. Give me Atlanta on the money line, and give me the Rams and Bucks game over 49.5.
Oh. Yeah, I could see that. Definitely could see that. All right. The man we created the segment Liquid Locks for in the middle. Vegas Mac, and he has a prop. Oh, God.
All right. I had my phone because I don't know if you guys saw this, but I'm going out a little bit. You know, I'm a uniform guy, right? This weekend, James Madison. I don't know if you can see these. These are the Marvel helmets. Thor, Incredible Hulk. They're wearing these helmets. They have their college logo on the side, but then they're wearing these helmets. Look at those bad boys. Okay, how can you not want to just have something to do with that game? So I'm taking James Madison. They're playing Washington State. They are there. I'm giving up 13.5 points, but it doesn't matter because when you got freaking Thor and Captain America, the Hulk, Iron Man. I mean, how can you freaking lose with something like that? There's no possible way that they can lose that game. And I mean, you got Marvel. You got to win that game. So there, I got James Madison minus 13.5. And then listen, I'm going to go with the best team that's got the worst record, and that's Arkansas. I mean, they lose to Ole Miss by 6, Memphis by 1, Tennessee by 3, A&M by 3, Mississippi State by 3, LSU by 1. Listen, I don't really think they're that bad of a team. They're just coming up a little bit short, and they're going to give me 10.5 points. So I'm going to take Arkansas plus the 10.5 against the Horns. They minus, of course, they don't have the Iron Man on their side, but that's okay.
How can you not like that? Because I like girls. That's how I can not like that.
Listen, I need to know though, if you were playing, which one would you pick? I mean,
I would put myself in the transfer portal.
No, T, which one would you pick? Captain America. I mean, I have to be honest with you. I would probably go with Thor, I think. But which one would you pick?
No, you don't want to make me. This is a fool's errand on this. I'm not picking any of those. I'm gonna do my best Nico Iamaleava and run to the transfer portal.
I think you guys are missing it right there. I'm just telling you.
Liquid lock. Put it on record right here. Where does he go?
Stays where he's at.
Oh, no. He's a Gator.
Okay.
He's a Gator.
So
he's already bought a house.
Tim Allen, Vegas Mac there says he's a Gator.
He's already bought a house. His family's already moved in. He's just,
and the bowling alley on campus. We talked about that last night. All right, and I wanted to leave you guys with this. He's what, Mac?
Go ahead. Nothing.
No, I promised you this last night. And now T's going to suffer because of it too. That was the chord I was referring to.
Jesus.
You want to know what the worst part of this is? Sorry to throw you under the bus, Cleveland, but it looks like you ran over a bunch of buses and that's how you painted your court. This isn't even one of the NBA Cup courts. This is an alternate court that they wore matching baby shit uniforms with.
Okay, when did this become a thing with the courts? Why? I mean, the Celtics played on the parquet for 80 years, and nobody complained. And we got to throw this crap. Just, God damn it, I'm old.
Old man yelling at cloud. Oh, here, T, you didn't get a good enough look. I'll put it back up for you.
They set the lake on fire. They set their floor on fire.
This is stupid.
Ooh. They set their floor on fire. Yes, and it counts. All right, tomorrow lunchtime live, Saturday, Thursday night football. Bills and Texans, a very interesting game in the landscape of the AFC. Maybe some more news about college coaches and stuff like that. So next week will be the next time that you see the three of us together on Tuesday for our only show next week. So Vegas Mac, do you have any parting words until you see our audience again next Tuesday? Jesus, I just did it. As soon as it came out of my mouth.
No. We're going to talk. We're going to talk some James Madison football. Join us.
Oh, jeez. Wow, that gave us three people. Which means none, because that'd be the three of us watching that show. T, do you have anything better than that?
Stuart Skinner gave up 5 goals again tonight.
There you go. That's how you get up on out of here. Lunchtime live tomorrow, 11:30 on the West Coast, 2:30 on the East Coast. For Vegas Mac, for TJ, for everybody behind the scenes, for all of you, hit that like, subscribe, and follow, and you know the drill.